You guys might know, as we are going through this series of events, we are creating different kind of AI agents that can help to automate our lives and uh, do the things very quickly. So basically, so we'll start with what are AI agents first. So there are two things. One thing is very popular nowadays, that people are creating automated workflows and calling them AI agents. So that's a thing that are also a thing, but majorly AI agents are those they which are not only a static workflows, but they can change their behavior dynamically as the things are changing, as the parameters are changing. So they can like make decisions, take actions to achieve goals, learn and adapt for the experiences. So they are not static, so they'll keep changing as the parameters keep changing. So we can think of them as digital assistant with specific expertise. So as you might know, like in previous event we were talking about AI travel agent, so which had an expertise in travel agent. So it can help you plan your travels better. So similarly, in this particular event we would talk about a sales agent which have an expertise in sales and can do outbound sales easily and very personalized outbound sale. And this can work independently and also collaborate with other agents, right? So one thing is, one single agent is working independently, so that's good. So but if we think of it like humans, so one particular person can't achieve all of the things, so it needs to have a team, or let's say crew, to achieve different things. So one of them could be only a person researcher, so who would just research on the entities or clients or the candidates that we are reaching to, right? Another could be he takes the research and forms a proper email out of it. Third one could be, let's say it's trying to then send that email, format that email, all of this stuff. So all of these different kind of agents working together to achieve a bigger goal. So that's what we would talk about today. So what this sales agent have? So one thing is definitely the intelligent sales automation that we are going to do. Second is, it is not going to be a simple agent, it is going to be a personalized outreach agent. For an example, we would also give more details about the person to reach out. Let's say we have a list of 100 candidates who we want to reach out, or 100 clients that we want to reach out. But writing a static email might work, might not work. But let's say if we get into the social medias, let's say LinkedIn, and get all of the details about this particular person, and then create a very personalized email for this person, which is only personalized for this particular person. In that case, we have more chances of getting back or getting a follow up from him. So that's why we are also adding a very personalized outreach into this as well. So third thing is combining profile analysis with smart email generation. So all of the analysis we did about this person, now we'll have to smartly, sorry, yeah, so now we'll have to create an email out of the analysis we did. And the third thing is, all of this is built using two frameworks. We have a Crew AI implementation of the thing, and a LangGraph framework as well. So we'll get to the key components of it. So I'll start by first showing you how you can also go through this tutorial as we are going. So is my screen shared?
Yes, sir. All
All
right.
right, sure. Yeah, so I'm
Yes, we are
having,
able.
so I was just making sure. So all of you guys can go to agentversity.ai, go to the tutorials section, and now you would see a new tutorial, which is AI sales agent. So once you click the start learning there, you'll have to sign up first, and then you would get this particular page where you'll have three options to choose from. One is the no code solution, which will go through the low code solution, which is the Crew AI part, and the code where we have implemented the same thing with LangGraph. So we have implemented the same particular thing in 3 different frameworks. So for getting started, we can start with the very easiest one, which is no code, which is an uh, implementation in n8n of this particular sales agent, right? So let's see. I'll open up this n8n workflow here. So yeah, so if you see how we have started is, we have started with, here we need to have some kind of data source to get all of the leads from, right? So here we have started with a Google Sheet trigger. So this is a sheet, Google Sheet, where all of the leads will be stored, and if any new row is added in this particular sheet, then we are only going to check if this is an high interest lead or not. If this is an high interest lead, then we are going to uh, personalize an email based on his name and all of that stuff, and then creating an email and then sending it through a SendGrid node. So as simple as that. This is the simplest implementation of this particular graph. So here we are only doing is adding a row into a Google Sheet. Whenever a new row is added, this particular node get triggered, and then it would basically create an email for this particular candidate using an OpenAI chat model, and then just send it using SendGrid. So that's it. Here's nothing complex in this particular one. Uh, Due to some limitations, we haven't even added the LinkedIn uh, scraping part of that as well. You can do that definitely. There are code nodes that can help you do that, but just to make this particular node simple and saying it no code, we didn't add that. But if you add a bit of code, I would say 10 lines of or 20 lines of code, this can also do that particular stuff. So now we can get to the more complex one, which is the low code one. So once you do that, now we have, this time we have an interactive Jupyter notebook where you guys can also create one. It would provision a new one for you, and you can experiment with it, try changing some things there, and try running it yourself. So I think last time when we had it, this was not there. So this time we have it. So this time you can interact with it, you can play with it. Even when you complete this, you will even have a URL of your own, which a unique URL which you can share with your friends to just showcase your particular agent that you have just created, right? So this is provisioning for me. So let's see. So I have you can also open this in a new tab like this. I've just done that. So now as you can see, I'm into a Crew AI agent. So let's get started into it. So how is this built and all of that stuff? So first thing first, it's a Flask based web application. Basically, agent also needs to have some UI to use it, right? So that's why we used a Flask based web application to showcase it. So it's a very simple implementation. If you know Flask, then we are just importing some modules here and there, and then initializing a database of it. I'll first run the code so you know what is there, and after then we'll actually go through all of the code. I'll run all of the cells. So this should take some time because Crew AI have a lot of dependencies. So pip installing all of them would take a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, we can just go through it. So we have a database initialization where we are initializing a database and then creating different tables into it. So what tables are we creating? We have a project table. We'll get to this a bit later. Contact table, and then we have this two agents that we are like creating. You might remember just a while back I was talking about these multiple agents collaborating to do one particular task. So you can see an example of that here. One is a LinkedIn researcher, which is going to research on a candidate's link.
Excuse me, I got some questions.
Yeah.
What is your main purpose in this AI?
Sure. So basically, main purpose of this AI is, so let's run it, and then I think I can explain you better. So yeah, let's run it. It would take 30 minutes, 30 seconds, sorry, and it should be up. And then I can show you the UI and you'll understand it better. So meanwhile, I can like go through it. So I am creating just different tables here and there, and then this LinkedIn research is an agent, then email writer is an agent. Both of them are collaborating to just send a particular personalized email for a person, right? So let's wait until it is installed, and then we can see it running. Also, you guys can do the same thing on your end. So you guys can open Agent Versity and try this as well. So this is open to you as well. So you guys can also run it. So see, so our application is running and we'll have to get to the last step to get the application URL. So this would be similar for you guys. So I'll get to the last step and I should have a URL here. So here it is. So, okay, so here we are. So this is the sales agent where we'll have to create a project first. Project is just an product that we are going to basically market. So let's say uh, we have a product called First Impress, and this is from a company called First Impress. So this is a web app where you can upload your 10 selfies and then create AI images using a text prompt. So as simple as that. So I'm just telling what this product is about. And then every email needs to have some signatures, right? So I need to give a sender's name. Let's say my marketer is Shivani. So I'm giving all of the details about this and then creating a project, as simple as that. So now as my project is created, I'll just have to upload selfies of all of the leads that I want to send this to. So let's say I have a CSV. I might have a CSV here. Let me, or I can just simply create one. No problem. I'll have it. It's a sales agent and data. Yeah, here it is, data.csv. So to upload, I only had two leads in this particular CSV. So both of them are uploaded. So you can see it have LinkedIn account for them as well. So now only thing I'll have to do is generate emails. So what this would do in background is, so you can see all of the steps here. So what it did is it scraped LinkedIn data for Hardeep and then generating an email for Hardeep customizedly. Similarly, it is doing for Raj. So it is scraping LinkedIn data for Raj and then generating an email. After that, we should have a proper email written personalized to these two particular leads. So yeah, it would take some time. And okay, so it says completed. So let's see here. So yeah, you can see we have. Yeah, so you can see here it have generated two emails personalized to Hardeep and Raj, and it would have all, it would tell about everything in the product, and it would be totally different. Both of these email will be totally different. It won't be similar. Like most of the emails we get from these marketing and companies, all of that are similar for every candidate. So they are not personalized to the user, but this one is totally different for every user. So right, so this is totally personalized for this particular user. So only thing now I'll have to do is send all emails, and that's it. It would just start sending emails, and that's it. All of the emails are sent, and I should have received an mail in my outbox. So that's it. So that's how it is working. You'll also see the logs here that all of this is. So now I can now I can go through the code to tell what it is doing.
Okay,
So,
I got another question.
yeah.
Is this fully trusted?
By trusted, can you elaborate this more?
Like, I mean, is this fully safe?
Okay, so that's the okay. So your question is that is this safe to automate this and all of that stuff, right? That's
Right.
the yeah, we when we generate emails, we do not directly send them. So that's the reason we have a step here which is human in loop. So we have this particular step where it is showing you what it have generated, and only then you have a button for sending all of this, right? So you have generated these emails. If you want to like change them, you have an edit button and you can customize them, you can change them. So it's totally safe in that case, because every time we create AI agents, we would make sure that some part of it is a human input. Human in the loop is always there. So definitely when we get to AGI, we might not even need that. But right now, yeah, we will have to have AI working with humans, not independently. So we have human in the loop here, where human is checking the emails and he can update the emails and only send it. So, was that the question? Yeah, Dipesh.
Actually, you are just.
Purjit.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so my questions is
अबे दीपेश देख,
Yeah,
sorry.
you
बहन
can
का
go.
लौड़ा, चुप कर साले, चूत ये बहन चोद.
Shivani, can we get this particular? Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I'm removing him.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Dipesh, you can continue.
Okay. Yeah, you just showed me the email template related to your the AI agent. Okay, but my question is sometimes customers are asking to send automated email to sell their product.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, so in my terms, I would say I'm providing a tailor-made applications.
mm-hmm.
Okay, for the depends on the what types of the business natures a customer have.
हाय
Got it.
घंटे लिया.
So in that case, how the AI agents will help us?
Yeah, so basically, if we are building it over for a product, definitely
100 से कौन
you
ले
do
आए,
a lot. Thing is, for this particular project you see here is a tutorial based, so where
Mhm.
people can learn how to
Hello,
quickly build
Pajit. Hey,
systems.
Pajit. Pajit.
Yeah, sorry. So we can for this scope of tutorial, we were only building product to keep it simple and keep it easy for the beginners to get started and see what AI is capable enough of. But yes, definitely, if we are creating it as a product, there are a lot of different things that can be improved. Also, the automation is there. We can definitely automate it. And yeah, this is just an example. This is, I think, only a 1 hour work for a beginner to begin with and start with and see how AI can change entire things, right? So, but
Okay.
it is built as a product. There are a lot of different things that needs to improve here, a lot of automations, a lot of different what we say pipelines to go through, funnels to go through, right?
Yes, correct, correct.
It's a very smaller version of that product just for the tutorial scope.
Okay, so basically we can also apply the funnel-based automated emails and based on the how many numbers of products we have and what the customers is interesting, right? So
Yeah.
on that base, email will be automatically composed and the wording will also be set like as per the interest, correct?
Correct. So if you are experienced enough, you should be capable to use this particular part from this tutorial to use this AI engine in your systems to enhance this more as much as you wanted. So that's what the idea is.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So yeah, I can now start the walkthrough of the code, or yeah. So if you were seeing in the
Pajit. Pajit. Pajit.
what is yeah, so I'll start the walkthrough of the code now. So what is happening is we are creating different entities here, right? So you see these are products and then these are contacts. So for these, we have different data tables that we are having. So one is a project that is storing all of the projects that we save. So we can have multiple of them. We right. And similarly for the contacts, we are having a table to store all of them. And then we have different agents that are working on different aspects of this particular application, and then combiningly they work as in crew. So that's what we are using here, which is crew AI, where multiple agents work together to give a single output. So that's how this is working. So now we can get to the code part, and then we'll take the questions, right? So similarly for the low code and the code, we now will have a provisioning of a Jupyter notebook here as well. Similarly, you guys can do at your end as well. This would take I think 30 to 40 seconds to provision, and then we should have an instance ready where we can interact and use it and change it. So I would encourage all of you to please get to this Jupyter notebook, right? Try it, make changes to it, even try changing the templates, writing your name here and there, and you'll have this unique URL of your which you can share with people to just try it. Yeah. So yeah, it is also, I think, provisioned. I'll open this up. It would also come up here. We can also see it here, but it's better to have it in a new tab. So yeah, so here is a very uh, big implementation of the same thing. The UI and all of the stuff is same, only the backend is what is going to change here. So here you can also see we are using LangChain and LangGraph. So we are using React agent for this. Also in this particular example, we have memories and all of that stuff built in. Similarly, here we have the projects and contact and all of that stuff. But here I'll get to more details about this LinkedIn and emails generator tool as well, right? So let's get to it. So first thing you see here is there are two tools that we are providing to our agent, which is this agent, to like get started and work on this particular thing, right? So I'll get to the tools part. So if you see here in the same folder, you'll have a folder called tools where you'll see a different files for different tools. So we can start with the LinkedIn scraper first. If you open up the LinkedIn scraper, what you would see is an implementation of LinkedIn scraping using a package called Selenium. So what this do is this basically opens up a Chrome instance and drives it to open LinkedIn, fill up your credentials if needed, right? And then just scrape all of the information from the candidate's LinkedIn page and just provide it into a JSON format. So here what we are scraping is his name, what is his headline on the LinkedIn, about what are his recent experiences, and what is his profile URL. So these are the things we are scraping from his LinkedIn and then providing this to LLM to parse it, analyze it for generating an email out of it. Yeah. So we'll get to the second tool now, which is email generator. So what this email generator do is, so you would see a system prompt here, which says you are an expert sales email, your task is to create personalized email, blah, blah, blah. And then we are providing the product info about the product that we took in the starting contact info. That is the email signatures data and the LinkedIn data for this particular candidate. So we are providing all of these details to the LLM to then create a personalized email out of it, right? So this would run, this would create a proper HTML template out of it. And then there's the last tool, which is email sender, which is then using an SMTP server to send these emails. So that's it. It's the simplest implementation. So uh, three tools that we use here are, first is a LinkedIn scraper that is just going in using Selenium to scrape LinkedIn's, scrape all of the information about him, and then it passes that information to the second agent, second tool basically, which is an email generator, which takes that information, forms an email template out of it, and pass it to the next tool, which is email sender, which is the last one, which then just use SMTP server to just send it. That's it. So that's as easy as it. So now we have the same dashboard here as well. So if I'll run all of the cells here as well, I'll get a similar dashboard there, where in the last step you should have a URL below, and this is the URL this time. If I'll open this, this would just open up the same interface where you can do the similar things that we showed before, right? So now we can like get back to our presentation where so where now I can explain you this how the things are. So what key components of this were, the profile analysis agent, right, which was analyzing LinkedIn profile, extracting information, understanding its background and all of that stuff. And then the second agent was email generator, which was creating a personalized email, and then keeping in touch, keeping the tone and messaging of the prospect, like incorporate region sites and everything. So all of this, this is the same thing that I was showing you before in the code section, right? So the crew AI part. So how this is the structured diagram of that particular thing, where first sender creates a project and gives in the user details, and then there are two agents, which is a LinkedIn researcher, email writer, working as in crew to send an email, right? So this is the whole system diagram of the application that I was showcasing, where first we have the user interface, which is connected through a Flask application, and then we have this React agent built using both of the frameworks, Crew AI as well as LangGraph, where it have basically two tools using an OpenAI GPT-4 models, using it memory, and just the end result of is a personalized email that can be sent. So yeah, that's it. So now what, how it, why is, what advantages are over traditional sale? First thing is time efficiency. So if you are doing the same thing, it might take you hours to even create emails, a perfect email, right? But if you use this kind of system, you use these agents, this would only take couple of minutes or even less than that, right? Also, the emails that we would write won't be very much reach and very much optimized for the sales and all of that stuff. But if it's an AI agent working, that's an expert in this particular segment, he would nail it down and write a very much reach oriented and optimized email for per person, right? Also, it would be personalized. So if you are adding that efforts to a human, that would scale up very much. If you have 10 leads, then I think you can do it. But let's say if you have 1,000 leads to follow or 1,000 leads to email, how would you do that? This would be almost impossible to do until and unless you have a lot of time, right? But if this is done using an AI agent, this is very easy and practical to use. So AI agent won't even take more than an hour to even send 1,000 personalized email, because it can work in parallel, right? So it have the memory as well. So all of that stuff. So all of the manual things that, all of the boring manual things that a human is doing can be automated using this AI agent. So uh, the other things are, it would have deeper prospect and understanding of the product, right? It would be more relevant messaging for the leads. It would be better engaging with the leads. Also, the quality would be consistent. Let's say if humans are working, humans are not consistent in the quality, as well as not consistent in following up. So we might uh, forget to like follow up, or we might not follow up at all if we have a lot of work. But if it's an AI agent, only work is to reach people, reach leads, outbound leads and all of that stuff, then it is consistent in it, and consistent quality is there in the reach and all of that stuff. So uh, also it would be always professional. It won't abuse or anything like that, or even it would be more better in engaging. It would maintain a brand voice, all of that stuff. So it have a lot of advantages over traditional sales. So yeah, that's it. So now if any of you have any questions, we can get to it.
Please either raise your hand and I will unmute you guys to speak, or you can post your questions in the chat.
Yeah, Dipesh, yeah, I think you
Yes,
could.
I just want to know, is there any options to like whenever we are doing a payment gateway or other types of the integrations, right? They are providing a sandbox account or the
Mhm.
testing account. So do we have any kind of the access to do some practicals and review before move on to the productions or something? And if available, what is the eligibility, or I mean, what is the durations, or how much time we can use it?
I'll understand your question better. So are you asking about the LLM providers or asking about our particular platform? So what is it?
The platform, so I want to create my own agent. Okay, you
Okay.
have created a two agent for the email writing and the LinkedIn agent, right? So is there any the developer account to create a multiple agents to do some practicals and review before move to productions, or give demonstrations to the end client?
Sure. Yeah, I'll get start with that. So, how you would need to get started is if you just get to the very first step of it, it would actually tell what are your requisites for like getting started, right? So, requisite for you are an open AI key, if or any LLM key. So, it doesn't need to be an open AI key. Open AI. Other than that, if you just want to get started, Gemini provides LLM models for free for some
Okay.
extent. So I think you can use that Gemini API keys to just get started. And then if you want to create a real product, go with Crew AI or LangGraph, create your project and just add your API key, use our tutorials, and that's it. Right now, if you use our particular tutorials, you'll have the API key for some time. Until this event is running, you'll have the API keys in them. So you can try it for free. So that's totally free. But if you want to build it for yourself, then you can just quickly get that API key and use that models. So that's the easiest way to get started with it.
Okay, one more last questions. Do we have any WhatsApp group or any group where we can join and exchange our knowledge or questions after the workshop or something?
Uh,
Are you maintaining like that?
Yes. So hi, Dipesh, is Shivani here. Yes, we do have a WhatsApp group. I'll be sharing the link towards the end of this question answers, and you all can join the WhatsApp group and post your questions or any suggestions or any new things that you would like. We'll also be posting updates over there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's okay.
You guys would also get a recording of this particular session in the same group.
Yes, that I just read in the chat. Okay, are you going to upload in your YouTube channel as well? So
Yeah.
that is fine, but it's not a ongoing process. So that's the reasons I asked for the WhatsApp group or other
Got it.
things to go in to discuss in future as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dipesh. Yeah, Purav, you can go ahead.
Hardeep, you can take next question from I think Rahul.
Yeah, sure.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, my question is regarding interpretability with LLM models. So, is there any tool or any framework where we can, get some interpretability with respect to how the LLM is working out?
Yeah, so by interpretability, you mean evaluations to it, or what do you exactly mean?
For example, let's say apart from RAG, where we have context, recall, and precision,
Yeah.
is there any other ways that we can, where we do not have a ground truth? How will
Mm-hmm.
we evaluate the model's response? For
Yeah,
example,
sure.
let's say an agent is taking a decision.
Mm-hmm.
For example, let's say it has to go right or left. So it will give you an answer stating that, okay, it has taken one decision. It is
Mm-hmm.
proceeding further next course of actions based on that. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, okay, it has come to that decision on some understanding, right? So
Yeah.
I just want to understand how it has taken that decision. Do we
Mm-hmm.
have any frameworks to, do that? I
Yeah,
hope I was able to communicate my question.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Thanks for that. First thing is when you are implementing these kinds of systems, so when you are implementing a RAG and everything, so your question is when it took a decision, so what are the grounds of the decision? So how can we see that, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so basically the thing is if how LLMs are created are using a transformers. If you want to get a very small understanding of how these works are. These are just predicting what the next word should be, combined, seeing a graph of all of the sentence and then just predicting the next word, right? So yeah, definitely there is nothing like that. We can't there is we can interpret the decisions of it, but yes, there are some ways of doing that. How you would do that is, rather than just one option you have is directly invoke an LLM with a prompt. In that case, you have no option, you have no way of knowing what were the grounds of the decision it took, or the answer it gave, right? But if you would divide the same thing into multiple nodes, let's say in case of LangChain, if you just divide this into multiple nodes, let's say the first node would be understanding the questions and what are the different things that what are the different step it needs to take to complete this particular question or particular task. Then second node could be start with the first task and do it and give your analysis. Then you can definitely add nodes, and then you can definitely ask it to provide it basis of the answer it is giving. So then it can definitely give you interpretation of its decisions and all of that. But by nature, LLMs are not made to do it, because they are not thinking like humans. They are just uh, predicting the next word out of a whole sentence. If you just see, transformers are like that only.
Yeah, now I understand. So you're
Yeah.
basically telling me to do a subtask and do
Yeah,
it a
basically
minute subtask.
dividing and conquering. So not directly invoking the LLM with a prompt. Instead, divide that. If you're doing it programmatically, I presume, then dividing the thing into multiple smaller chunks and then do it. And in that case, it would be more grounded as well.
Okay, I'll just give that a try and let you know.
Correct. Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, Rahul. Yeah, we can get to the next one,
Yeah.
which is, I think,
Hi,
yeah.
Hardeep. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for the session. It's so informative, learning a lot of steps. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a question, how does the agent understand that it is sending to an invalid address or it is getting a bounced email, right? So does it keep track of all email it is sending it out? How does it know that it has already sent an email to this particular address, so I don't send any duplicate email? So how do you build such intelligence into the system?
Sure. So yeah, first thing first, in this particular tutorial, we haven't covered that scope, but that's very simple to do it, because it's another tool that needs to be passed to this LLM, where in this particular case, we are using SendGrid, right? So SendGrid definitely have some APIs which can tell if this particular email does exist or is invalid, or that the email bounced or something like that. So all of that APIs are available with SendGrid. So this is not a very AI agent specific task. Instead, this is an API and plumbing kind of thing that needs to be done. So it should be very quick to do it if you actually want to do it. So it should be another tool, which is, let's say, uh, check email before sending or something like that, and then that case it would just send an API request to SendGrid, ask if this particular email does exist or would my email bounce or anything like that, and it would return. And similarly, the AI would adapt to it and just respond back with saying, yeah, this I can't send to this particular email because it's not valid or something like that. So yes, this can be added, but in this particular tutorial we do not have that, just to make it simple. But yes, that's very simple to add. Yep.
Yes, Srinivasan, please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is like, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my specific question is like, can you keep breakpoints in that particular Jupyter notebook, and then you go to that web page and you enter some data, and it hits that particular breakpoint, and then we can go into this particular, we can flow through the code internals to see the entire process flow. Yeah, would that be possible right now?
Yes, we can do that, but that might take some time. But that's the reason we got you access to the Jupyter directly, so you can try experimenting with that. If, for example, I'll just I'll just start with that. Let's say our main file is main, right? So
Ah,
this is where all of API logic and all of that stuff lies, right? So you can try it. You can see. I'll just give you an example. Let's say when you're creating a project, there should be an API called create API, create project. So this is that API where
yeah,
all
yeah.
of
So
data.
basically what I'm saying is this particular code,
Mhm.
okay, is like very, it doesn't have the proper code comments. So like, I mean, not all the code samples will have proper code comments, right? So
Correct.
yeah, so what we can do is that we can go to the front end
Yeah.
in that particular Flask, and then we can enter somewhere, and then that particular breakpoint gets hit here,
Mhm.
right? So that any novice programmer can understand where it is hitting, in which particular. So get project, that is one particular function in Python, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Get project. So
Mhm.
somewhere on the front end, somewhere on the Flask web front end,
Mhm.
there should have a facility. So if I enter something there on the front end,
Mhm.
this particular get project should get instantiated,
Correct.
right? So how do we do that in Jupyter Notebook?
Yeah, so basically, if you are asking about breakpoints and all of that stuff, so in Jupyter Notebook, you can't do it, honestly, because this is a single file where it is directly imported and invoked. But yes, if you just want to try it locally, just get this code locally, run it locally, you would be able to do it. In let's say a VS Code instance or some IDE, they definitely have breakpoints and debugging things where you can just add breakpoints that pause here until I play you again, and only then like execute the next code, right? So something
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. And I have one more question. It's
yeah.
like, if let's say I don't have access to OpenAI, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do I have to, how many lines of code do I need to change if I have to pass in Olama as a LLM agent?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so like, can you tell me like if instead of OpenAI,
Mm-hmm.
I want to pass in that local Olama,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in this particular Jupyter notebook,
Yeah.
where should I change that lines of code?
So yeah, that should be simple, I guess. So let me get to it. 1 second. Where
So
is it?
is it like only one line of code for two,
Yeah,
three
it's
lines of
one line
code,
of
or
it's a one line of code itself. So you would find see chat OpenAI. So you can try finding it. So you would find an initialization here. So here the model is chat OpenAI. Similarly, you can just comment it, right? And then import your model. Let's say it's Olama, chat Olama. I'm sure this is the name only, but just to make sure, you can just go to LangChain, Olama, chat, right? So here it is. Yeah, it's the same correct one. So what you will have to do is import this. I'll just do that right away. So import this. I'll import it here for just testing. Do this and call it model. And that's it. That's the only change you'll have to do. Other
so
parameters. Yeah.
if you run this, if you
Yeah.
run this,
Yeah.
will it go successfully? Will it compile successfully?
Yes, it would. 100%. Only thing you'll have to change is the model you have locally. So that's the only thing you'll have to change. One line of code is the only change you'll need to do, and that's it. It would compile 100%.
Okay, so that is the easiest thing, right?
Correct. Other than that, just to adding to it, if you just want to not use Olama, there, let's say I just gave an example of free APIs from Gemini, right? So you can just search the same thing, and you will find Chat Google Generative AI. So you can use this as well, where the Gemini code would work. So for that, this is the code. For that,
Yeah,
this is the only thing that would change. That's it. So only for changing model, this is the line that you'll have to change. This is a single line of change that would change the entire LLM model for this particular workflow.
okay, okay. And do we need to check the return value of the model? No, not required.
A return value of the model?
Yeah, in whether the model is successful, or in other codes we check the return value using check error conditions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that required here?
See, when you are invoking a single prompt, you'll definitely have to do it. But when you are working with agents and React agents, in that case, it they are very self destructive and self healable as well. So in that case, you'll not have to do it. It automatically heal itself and just restart. So that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
If you're using agent, then you'll not have to do it. But if you are invoking it for a single prompt, then you should definitely do it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, let's get to the next one.
Hardeep, just 2-3 more questions and then we'll go to the next one.
Sure.
Yeah. Hi. I'm
Hi.
audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
So yeah, with this AI agents, can we able to do any task on ID, like generating some code inside my ID, like writing some like Java code and all. So it's one thing, and apart from the ID automation, like any system level things also can you do, like browsing all my folders and deleting some things and all. And third question is where I can find the task, like we have different agents for different tasks, right? If I have, I want to if I want to have a task like writing some code and all, so I need to take some separate agent for writing code, right? So where I can get all the list of the agents in the internet or anything like that?
Okay, yeah, so it's an interesting question. So the question here is, so how can I use some AI agents to automate the IDE as well as the system things, right? So first thing first, if you are going to build it yourself, you can do it using the same approach that we are doing. But already there are some things in market like Aider. Also there is Cursor. There is Pair AI. Copilot, a lot of different IDE plugins that or CLI plugins that can directly do the same thing that we are talking about. So right, for an example, so if you are using Cursor, so there you'll have something called Composer there, where you just need to type in what you need to build and it would just build it for you, right? And other than that, the computer use thing, that is how can AI control my computer, right? So if you might know that a few months, I think a few weeks back, um, I think uh, that's Entropic. Yeah, Entropic launched their computer use where they are automating the things on your computer. So basically, it is like giving access to AI to your computer and ask it to do, let's say, write an email to this particular person. So it would automatically open your browser, open the Gmail, enter your mail address and all of that stuff. So yeah, all of these things are possible using AI, and people are already doing it. There are already tons of tools online that you can use to do all of this stuff, but you should try building all of this your own. So you'll own it, you'll learn about it. So I would say try building these kind of stuff. So try with smaller agents like we are doing, and then just eventually you are learning and just try building bigger agents. You for inspiration and for trying, just go online. There are a lot of these tools. Aider is there, Cursor is there, you can try them. Yeah.
Can you just show that the exact the browser?
Your browser uses or
I mean
Cursor?
the Chrome, the Heath or something you mentioned, just the
I
exact.
think he's asking about Claude AI, Anthropic.
Okay, so Aider. Okay, so Aider is one of them. I think Aider, as he mentioned, so Aider is a pair AI programming where you can just see. You can. I'll refresh the page to see it. So it's saying make a web page with our planets orbiting around the sun in 3D, including this, and it is automatically generating all of the code, asking for your permissions for something, and that's it. It created a website where this is doing that. Include all the real planets in our solar system. So now it would add real planets, and here we have the real planets orbiting the sun in a website, and AI made it. So snake game in Python. So
Awesome. So, and the Cursor one you mentioned.
yeah, Cursor is an IDE. This is a CLI tool where this would work in a terminal. But if you go to Cursor, it's an AI editor. It's a fork of VS Code, and it have AI features. So let's say like this, it would give you auto suggestions as you are coding to what can be there. Other than that, it knows your code, so you can just ask. It would have a chat box here where you can ask things, and it would do it. right? How can you make this, and it is telling you how to do it. That's it. And then editing real time. So selecting a code and then asking it that make this particular change, and it did that. So yeah, these are some tools you can use. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I can see any list of the agents, for which task the particular agent I can use it like that.
There are a ton of AI agents and all of AI tools around from last 1 year. So if you just start searching for anything on Google, you'll definitely find it related to AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are just a Google search away.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Tanishk, I think you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Hello, Hardeep. I just wanted to ask you one question. How
Yeah.
did you approach the design of this particular AI agent? Like, what's the architecture? Not exactly the architecture, how did you design it based on that specific problem? I
Mhm.
wanted to know that because even I want to design some particular AI agents, but I don't know how to approach that problem.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a great question. So I'll sorry, I'll get to this diagram and actually explain it. So first thing first, take the requirement. What is the requirement, and what are the user stories for this particular agent? Let's say the requirement that came to me was a sales agent, outbound sales agent. That's it, right? So for this, what you'll need to do is, right? So you need to, if it is an outbound agent, what are the inputs it should have? So think of it like what inputs are there and what outputs are expected, right? So just thinking out loud. So it's an AI agent, outbound agent. What are the inputs? One input is definitely the emails of people to reach. What are the different emails that I need to reach? Second is what to reach about, right? So there needs to be some product or project or something like that. Third is what to personalize, like, right? This is the third one. Was whom to reach, what to reach, and what to personalize, right? Whom to reach is an email list, and then second was like what to personalize, so sorry, what to reach was the product. Third was what to personalize using his LinkedIn, and fourth was how to reach using an email, some API. So I've got four whys and four questions. So I'll just simply start implementing all of that. So one thing is, first I need an email list, right? So then I'll just create a system where I can upload an email list and save it into a database, right? First thing solved. Second thing, getting about what to reach, right? That is the product or the project that I want to reach out. So let's create a system for that. Save the things into it. It can be a singleton one. If this was a singleton one, then I can just hard code the core aspects of the product or project directly into the code. But for some reason I want it to be multi-tenant, so multiple projects can use this particular system. So in that case, I just saved that to a database and multiple projects are created. So second thing also solved. Third thing was what to customize. So how can I know more about a customer, so I can reach him better? That is the LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, if we are a professional, will have more information about a candidate from his LinkedIn. So just add another module to it, which is LinkedIn scraping, get all of the data about him, and that also solved, right? And the fourth thing is the last thing, which is how to send it. So you need to have some provider through which you want to send it. The simplest option is SMTP, right? From where to get an SMTP. In this particular case, I just use SendGrid for this thing. Now I have all of the four components ready, right? So I now need to assemble all of this, right? So how can I assemble this? For quickly building an application, I would use the easiest thing. If I'm using Python, which is Flask, we can definitely go with different frameworks here, but quickest and the easiest is the Flask. So just use Flask as used an SQLite database, combined all of this. Now comes the main brain part of it, which is agent, right? In this agent, how to do it? So here question this was not the question that how to do it, because we already know we need to do it three ways. One is no code, low code, and the code solution. So we know that we need to use Crew AI and LangGraph here for actually building it. So now we know that want to use, let's say, LangGraph for this. So implement these agent. We have these tools, different tools. Now give these tools to the LLM, and then it can like do it, and then use some LLM provider. So mostly that we use is OpenAI. So just use it, quickly get it done, and yeah, just ship it. That's it. So that's how the thinking of it is. So that's how you can see it here. So user interface, where Flask application is connected to a React agent that could be built in a Crew AI or LangGraph, doesn't matter. And then it is connected to multiple tools like these. And then the final output is an email. So that's it.
Okay, Hardeep, last question from Manikandan. Manikandan, if you can go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Hardeep. So this question is about the responsibilities of AI agent developer. So now we see the low code, no code, as well as code, right? Can all these three offering can do the same thing? Whatever we do with the code, can we achieve the same thing in the low code and no code as well?
Yeah, so I'll get to it. So how this is, when you are using a no code solution or a low code solution, let's say you are using a no code solution, which is n8n. So in this case, you are limited to what provider provides you. The provider is n8n. So you are limited to what nodes that this provides, right? So you have different nodes here. Let's say you might have a node for Google Sheets, right? You might have a node for LinkedIn. You might have a node for Facebook. So you can do all of this stuff. But let's say you have a very niche kind of requirement or something like that. You want to, let's say, scrape flight data. You do not have that. So how will you do that? So this is the thing. So when you are using no code solution, you are limited to what provider provides you. So you do not have any control over what can I do. So it's not 100% creativity. Definitely you can integrate code into it and do that, but that won't be no code anymore, right? So, but if you're using a code solution, then I can say you have 100% creativity. It only limit is sky and your creativity, and you can build anything.
All right. Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Hardeep, we can proceed. All the questions are done.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. If we do not have any questions, so Shivani, that's it, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody has any other questions apart from that?
Yep. Let's take it. Yeah, Naresh, you can go first.
I think I unmuted Srinivasan and then I'll unmute Naresh as well.
Sure, sure.
Okay, let's say we have two sales agents.
Yeah.
No, like let's say like in MS Office there is MS Word and MS PowerPoint, right? So like that in a typical real scenario, we will have two sales guys doing two different sales activities, but the first sales and the second sales will have a dependency. So in that case, how do we design the AI agent?
Sure. So yeah, what I understand from your question is how would AI agent work together if they have dependencies on each other, right? Is this a question?
Yeah, like for example, we have like any business, in any business or office, we have different sales people, right? So one salesperson will have a dependency with another sales.
Got it.
So how do you build a typical AI agent or a group of two agents which interoperates with each other?
Sure, yeah, that should be simple. So we have an example here itself. So here as well, if we were seeing, if you see the system here, so how this was that email writer was dependent on LinkedIn research only, or researcher only, to first research about the lead and then give it to so that it can write an email for that particular lead. So how these works is they basically delegate the things to next agent that needs to work on it. So basically they know what agents are in my particular crew. So this was a very small example where we only have 2 agents in this crew. But let's say even if there were 5 agents in this crew, they'll still know that who does what and which agent needs to be delegated for this particular next task. So if you see, the first thing was it got a list of leads. So LinkedIn researcher is working on what it is working on. It is getting to their LinkedIn's, fetching all of their details about it, and then delegating all of that information to the next candidate, which is email writer. And then email writer is writing that emails and sending them. That's it. So similarly, LinkedIn gets to the second one, pass it, third one, pass it. So that's how they actually handle delegacy and how they work together as a team.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Naresh, you can ask next question. Naresh, we're not able to hear you.
Is it audible? Yep, we can hear you. Naresh, can you hear us?
Naresh, if you are having an issue, you can always type your question in the chat box. I think we can take Shravan's question to go ahead with, Hardeep.
Sure, sure.
Hi, thanks for letting me ask this question. So, the question is around training of this particular model. So, do you go through any training through any specific setup data? Could you explain if there is any standard that you adopt?
Yes. Sorry, Shwan, I couldn't hear you properly. Could you repeat your question?
So, Hardeep, I can take this question. So, what Shravan is asking is, how would you test this? How do you train this model, and how do you collect the test data and everything? So, so Shravan, what we do is, in order to AI agents, I mean, I think if you were there in the previous meetups that we had, AI agent building is probably 20-30% work, but the rest of the work would be around benchmarking and evaluating it. So training, in the sense, the prompt need to be tuned. There could be some edge scenarios. There could be issues with tool calling. We don't know if the prompt is efficient for the model to do tool calling. So we make all these iterations by maintaining different prompt templates and also seeing if it is able to retrieve through any memory. Because see, as of now, this might, if in case we have a personalized agent, which would also have a lot of memory, maybe, it should know probably last month you have probably reached out to this lead. It should probably know that information. Otherwise, it would mostly be a workflow, right? Because if it doesn't retrieve it, knowing that, hey, I'm talking to the same person I spoke to last month, then then it's not personalized. So as of now, if you want to make it personalized, you need to do all these evaluations and benchmarking where you create your own synthetic data. Maybe you create, I think we already went through this in the benchmarking session that we had like few weeks ago, I think few meetups ago. You have tau bench, you create a lot of synthetic data and run these questions through this agent and probably get and see how the response is. So evaluate it. You see, okay, how you probably could use LLM itself as a judge, or you could do mainly through a human feedback and see if the response is right or wrong. If it is wrong response, then you again tell the model or include that in the prompt to avoid those scenarios. Maybe if the response is really rude or maybe the response is not that apt, then you probably again iterate on prompting. So end of the day, the training here involves, because these are not trained, we are not changing any model parameters. So the training here is more of like how you update your prompt and how are you making your RAG process. Maybe, sometimes you might retrieve some documents, or you might have to retrieve some, basically tool calling aspect of this agent is very important. I mean, it should know when it has to write the email, when it has to do the research, when it has to send the emails. So, and when it is call that APIs, or when it has to use that tool appropriately based on the context. So that is the thing that LLM decides. So it's all dynamically done. So there is a room there's a lot of room for improvement. As of now, LLMs might not work 100% of the time. So if you develop this, you feel like, oh, my agent is working 100% of the time and I can just put it in prod, then you might be wrong. So you always need to continuously refine and evaluate your agent performance, and then update your prompt or update your agent, your agent code, mainly to to make sure it is able to do the tool calling properly. So this is something, and this will only be realized as you test it out in real life scenarios. I mean, you might get the best sales agent outside, but your sales agent might hallucinate, or it might not properly do the tool call, or it might not be self-aware. That makes agents different from a regular automation workflow. So that really differentiates it. So that evaluation and benchmarking is really important, and that would be part of this training and optimization problem that you're talking about.
Next question we can take from Karthikeyan. Karthikeyan, you can go ahead.
Thank you. So I just wanted to confirm, like, my understanding. Actually, I joined a little bit late. So basically, here we are using the LLM in 3 places, if I understand correctly. So first thing is to decide which tool to execute based on the incoming data. And then inside these 2 agents, we were using the AI model to kind of scrap the tool and understand that user. And in the email writer, we'll be generating the email with the help of LLMs, right?
Yeah, you are correct. But to correct you more, basically, this was not as in workflow where we were not telling it to select a tool and then do this. Instead, we were directly giving it to an agent executor who is itself deciding when to call which tool. And these tools in itself does have LLM calls to optimize the data they have collected from LinkedIn. And then definitely the email writer is creating a draft out of the data we have received. So yeah, that's how it is.
Okay, let's say if I have some 10 tools or some let's say I have 10 different tools that I have created. So based on that, let's say based on the incoming data, if I want to pass the data to a particular tool and process, is that also possible with this create React agent?
Yeah, you will not have to actually pass the data. LLMs are smart enough when we create agents out of it. So you just need to tell what parameters each tool needs, and it can pass the data itself. So you'll not have to pass it. LLMs agents would take care of it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And I just want to add a bit to it. So even there, when you're having like 10 different cool tools, LLM can do it, but as I said, they could have it might not be doing it 100% of the time. So you probably need to make sure that as your number of tools increase, your design complexity would increase, and your evaluation and benchmarking requirement would increase, because there are a lot of steps that things can go wrong. So you should also think how parallel tool calling is happening. If one tool call is dependent on other tool call data, all of these are definitely handled by these frameworks like, LangGraph or CrewAI and N8, and all of these are inherently, kind of graph-based or schema-based design process. So I think these are definitely handled to that.
Next question, I think Purav has a question. Purav Gandhi, I'm unmuting him. He's already posted in the chat, but he can also speak up. Purav, you can go ahead if you have any questions.
Hello.
Yes, Purav, we can hear you.
Yeah. So, can you just, list down some of the tools that are useful for training the AI agents?
For this AI agents, yeah, we have a list of tools here itself. So one is a LinkedIn researcher, and second is the email writer.
So, are they created by you, or like it is like somebody?
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
you guys have created it.
Yeah, so I was showcasing them in the previous one where I was showcasing these tools implementation. I think they have timed out, so these Jupyter notebooks are closing. But yeah, you can see the tools here that I've generated using the base class directly from the LangChain itself. But all of the implementation here is from myself itself. So I was showing that LinkedIn Scraper is using the Selenium, and email sender is using SMTP servers from SendGrid. And yeah, email maker is directly using in uh, OpenAI LLM to just use all of the data collected and form a draft out of it. So all of these three tools are created by us only, and you can
Okay.
customize as much as you want. So yeah.
Okay, fine. And like, yeah, I just got an answer from Raja. Raja been like, we help you. So next question was like, what do you guys help us with? Like, how can we get benefited from you, or how, what kind of services we provide that can help
Yeah.
us?
Yeah, Purav. So I mean, so we do upskilling, and we also are into consulting. So as of now, this entire thing, what we're trying to do is to upskill and also help all of them who are in, maybe the folks who are from sales background in this call, right? Who are coming from, that's the reason they might be from HR background. So we kind of like letting people know that this is something, it's not rocket science. Anyone can learn and create these workflows and upskill themselves and make themselves more valuable, in the coming wave of this, AI environment, right? And also, if you are a business owner and if you want to implement something like that, we also provide consulting as well for you guys to implement any workflows. So yeah, definitely. But here, end of the day, we are trying to create a community where everyone learns and shares information, and that's the main important aspect of all this what we're doing now.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay,
That really
next.
helped. Yeah.
Okay, next question. You, Rahul, can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Raj. So, Deep, you did very good job. I've seen your code. It's good. So my question is, like, what about the data safety? Like, you guys are providing this data to the LLM, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how you are preventing the sensitive information going to the LLM as a training data?
So basically, so when you say regarding the data safety, right? Whatever you're referring to, so definitely OpenAI would get all your data as tokens, so they can. What they say is they don't use your data to train the model and everything. But still, if you are paranoid, if you are, you are a financial, if you are coming from a financial company or any of this healthcare with their strict guardrails, first thing is having a proper process in the data layer itself. Already data at rest encryption, data in transit encryption, or even if your data is already as stored as embedded in your vector DB. If you don't want to send it to OpenAI API, you could always have a small language model hosted within your own environment. And small language model could be trained by your large language model using synthetic data. You don't have to use your own data. You can create synthetic data and have that small language model trained on this data. Maybe it all depends on your use case. What are you performing with LLM? Are you trying to create a workflow? Are you trying to create an automation? Small language models, there are some small language models which could be explicitly trained to do specific things like tool calling. Maybe there's a tool calling that you need to know. You have to have the specific workflow, and this is where you need to have a tool calling. So these small language models could be very small, and the efficiency could also be made beyond OpenAI, because that's one advantage. I mean, if you are trying to create something of your own and it has to be in your own private VPC or your own private air gap environment, this is one way in which we can assure data security. But if you are coming from this is one way. But if you're sending something to OpenAI, definitely in your data layer you can add masking if there's some PII. That also that entire thing will be part of your data pre-processing steps, where you could just filter it out rather than sending that private information to OpenAI. So yeah, these are some ways you can. And when we're working with like corporate environments, we usually recommend them to use small language model or retrain them or create LoRa's that within their own environment and have them used to have the security rather than sending our data to someone else, maybe a third party vendor. You're just having that own yourself, right? This open source model like Mistral 7B is open source. You have 5.4 or 5.3 model is open source. We had some
Yeah,
sessions to use language model.
Yeah.
Yes, 5.4 is an amazing model. It also have multimodal capacity. But only problem with the small language model is the tool calling aspect is not that mature enough. Some may not have, directly they cannot call APIs and all. So we probably need to train it a bit. So you probably do LoRa's, or you create your test data, create a training cycle, you do your benchmarking, and at certain point, your small language model will be as efficient as OpenAI as well.
Makes sense. Thanks. You guys are SaaS-based company, or you are providing workshops?
See, we have some products that we're developing. So we have a SaaS products, mainly which are agentic native products that we're developing as of now for different verticals. And and also, when you say workflow, I mean, are you referring to something like consulting, or what are you referring when you say workflow?
No, I
What
was
is the
just
workflow?
asking, I was just curious that you are like building your products or you provide
Yeah,
maybe.
we're doing both.
Huh.
We're doing both, but as of
Mhm.
now, we are mostly focused on building our own products because so we and also creating this community where we can upskill people and the products even to upskill someone. If someone who want to learn AI, you don't have to like really struggle a lot. But how can we make sure their barrier for entry into AI is as low as possible? So we're building edtech products for them, which can help them out to learn something new really faster. Someone coming from sales or maybe a managerial role, how can they learn AI, right? That is also something that we're trying to solve with our products. So these are all something that we'll release as Agent Varsity is one of the product that we have. It's part of it, and we are maturing that product a bit more. And this is basically creating this community to get more feedback and everything for that product.
Yep. Cool. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Next question we have from Karthikeyan. Karthikeyan, I've unmuted you. Please go ahead.
Sure, thank you. So yeah, I have one question. I mean, we do have this agentic approach, right? To have, let's say, to diverting the um, task to a different agent to get the results. So here also kind of we are doing the similar thing with the tools. So how exactly these two things are different and how to choose between these two? Any inputs on that?
Yeah, so I think I can take it. So I think your question here is uh, one is we can definitely use workflows to automate all of this stuff. Second is using agents. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically workflows are very unpredictable. So and they can be breaked if some parameter breaks in. So they might break in that particular case. But if you are building an AI agent to do the same things and providing the same tools to it, so it can do way better job. So we actually have a slide for it. So if you see, so they can make decisions based on the different changing parameters. They can adapt according to the experiences and according to the parameters, right? So but a workflow would break in that case, right? So let's say there was a question before that, if how to handle bounced emails and all of that stuff. Workflow would break in that case. But if it's an AI agent, it knows, okay, this has been bounced, so I need to reach out to the leads team that this particular email doesn't work, so we need to update this to something else or something like that, right? So it is very adaptive. It's way adaptive than a workflow. So that's why we would use this rather than using a traditional workflow.
I'm not talking about that static workflow. So
Yeah.
let's say currently we have this scraping the LinkedIn and then creating the emails, right? Let's say if we have separate agent altogether for these two things,
Yeah.
and kind of one agent to manage these two other agents, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, completely entire separate services.
Mm-hmm.
And currently we are using the single service that accommodates both of these agents as tools, right? So how exactly we choose between these two, like when to use that separate agent for the scrapping, or
Mm-hmm.
whether I need to use that as a tool inside my own single agent? So how to choose?
Yeah, so that totally depends on the use case or what a particular thing you are working on, right? So you have different agents created. One is working on the LinkedIn researching, one is working on the email, but both of these are dependent on each other. Why? Because email writer needs some content, right? So it would get all of that content from who? The researcher agent, right? So they need to work together to give a expected output. So that if you want to definitely use them as an individual agents, that's totally possible. You can just take the LinkedIn research and it can work on your research and then do it similarly. Email writing can work, but that totally depends on the use case you are working on.
Okay.
And,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I just want to add a bit more to it. One more thing is I want to add is here. It also depends on one thing. What we have to consider whenever you're designing an agent is every agent. The reason why we are splitting agents, actually, every agent is basically a different LLM call, right? If you're a developer, that is easy to break down. Agent is actually doing a call to some LLMs, but now we're creating different. So how to make a decision between either to create a different agents or to make an agent do bunch of things. So I would say break it down into different agents, rather than one agent do lot many things, because your error or the point of hallucination would increase if one agent is handling too much of cognitive workload, just like how we humans are, right? If you have one person handling like maybe, you know, he's doing accounting, is also doing development, is also doing like, you know, marketing, maybe it's possible, but there's your output may not always be of high quality. But what if you divide one to be doing less and make other processes also do, and they all work together in coordination? That is how all of these, every organization is actually organized that way, right? So the thing is similar thing with agents as well. If you have one agent do lot many things, it might hallucinate, it might not do the right tool call, it might fail to do a specific tool call, or it is too much to handle for that agent. This, and one more thing, the response time, right? If one agent is doing so many tool calls to get you an answer, to get you a response, it might take lot of time. You can't parallelize it. I mean, parallelization is again, right? You know, you also have to take care of the dependencies there, because one has to do research and then only the other can write emails. So there is again a dependency there. But what if one can write or do research and both? Then what happens is your evaluation and benchmarking will come into picture. Your agent would probably not function as accurate as having two different agents. So it's almost balance of different things that you have to do. Either divide it as a task, or what is the cognitive workload. So when I say cognitive workload, it would be what is that it is doing. If it is writing, let it only write. Please don't ask it to do research as well. Then what happens is cognitive workload would be less. And also the other thing is it can be improved over time. So now you have a huge prompt. What happens is you probably include all of the edge cases in that prompt. You give some examples or on multi-shot examples in the prompt. So you're not going beyond a context length. Imagine if you have one agent doing a lot more. And as you, after 10 days from now, you're refining your prompt, your system prompt will be so huge, probably it might go out of context length. I mean, it might not, because see, now the context lengths are really huge, almost like 100 page PDF is how the context lengths are. But still, memory could also be compromised, because now the memory is also a huge layer that we have to manage. A writer should know what it has written previously, whether it has written previously to this person, and if it has written, what is the response? So these are something that the writer should also review if you're talking about memory layer, when you're actually productionizing a system like this. So yeah, you would know exactly, is it scalable or not? And also the thing to consider is the cognitive workload. So is it thinking what it is doing and all of those? And yeah, that's how you can divide it.
Good. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. I think I got it. So basically, it depends on the cognitive workload as well as the scalability of that particular agent, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so we do have any more questions?
I think we had one question, but I think it's already answered. It was from Rohit.
Okay.
Rohit, if you have any more question, I can just unmute you.
Hi, that's the question what I asked in chat. So like if you work on Copilot or like GitHub Copilot, if you use it for automate code generation or generate the JUnit test cases, so as an AI model, it finds use to get better results. So how can we sure that our data will not go to, like code will not go to other sources? That's the question. So I got an answer. So you can elaborate it also.
Correct. So basically, similarly here, see, Copilot can't do it, but there are other providers like Copilot where you can add your API keys directly to it. So, for instance, if you just want to quickly do it, there's a tool called Olama, which you can just run in your system, run some coding LLM specialist model like 5.4. It's 5.3, sorry. It's very good at it. So just install it and then just add your API key for Olama and your base URL for Olama directly into Cursor, and that's it. It would never leave, your data won't leave your laptop anymore. So all of your things are running locally. Yep.
But I think one problem with that approach is, you know, 5.3 is not as, the reasoning power of 5.3 is not as robust as, you know, OpenAI. So
Yeah,
that is really, you have to basically balance it out. If you want to use 5.3, maybe, you know, your quality is not that great. But if you're going with, you know, maybe OpenAI, the quality is good. And if you're really concerned about the data being, if the data has to be secure, whatever code that you're trying to put, I mean, since it is all functional code, you should not be that worried. Only thing that you have to worry about is your credentials, your API keys, and things like that. Unless and until you're building some algorithm or maybe something like that, which so if you're concerned about it, usually they create your own specific API endpoints in your own, enterprise. So if you're working for enterprise, they'll create their own private endpoints that you can create, and you can put different audit around it. But still, there's no guarantee if they would actually use that code or not. But it is better to use the system to do some routine work. Okay, now we use it to develop maybe a login page or maybe a simple CRUD. Most of the applications are CRUDs, right? If you're developing a service, maybe it's doing some CRUD or it's adding something to something and getting a response back, right? So it's the same thing that every developer does over and over again. In that case, you could have code generators write the base code, including test cases, because the beautiful thing about code generators is if you make them write test case and then write the code for the test cases, like TDD, it's really accurate. The reason for it is now you're grounding your code generation with the test case that is written. So you definitely get a great code with good code coverage with this approach. And also it's functional code. You don't have to give any of your business data. You can just ask it to do some, just be it more of like a template that you're going to use. And then you can abstract it and use it in any way. So that way you're not really concerned about you're just not making any of your data go, leave, or maybe the code that is generated, you're not compromising anything. So you can just keep that as a separate workflow, which is just generating some modules or some boilerplate code that you can later use by modularizing or templatizing it.
I think Srinivasan has had some question. Srinivasan, I've unmuted you. Can you please go ahead?
No, basically, I don't have, any questions. How come maybe some error happened? Yeah. My last question is like, just I was like keeping this question on the chat box. Like, according to you people, okay, according to you people, what are the types of agents which are like very helpful to the IT firm?
Helpful to someone coming someone doing IT?
To any firm. It can be a development firm or it can be a firm which is into some business.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
no.
it all depends.
In other words,
yeah.
In other words, we have something like Play Store. We have something like Azure Marketplace, where some prominent tools are being listed by Microsoft or Google or some other IT firm, right? So, like that, according to your team, which agents are quite popular right now? Is it a sales agent or is it something got to do with airline reservations, a kind of agent, or is it got to do with tourism agent, or is it got to do with FMCG event, kind of a agent that can be embedded into a Chrome extension or some other website?
See, I mean, if you're asking about which kind of agent has like more which is more people are adopting it, we don't have a specific answer for that because, even though there are a lot of people offering it as a service, the biggest problem with offering it as a service is, agent need to be continuously refined and fine-tuned and things like that. And I do see a lot of, there are a lot of integrations that they're already providing out of the box. Let's say if you have your CRM, maybe you can create your own agent, or maybe if it's Salesforce, right? Salesforce already has, if you're using CRM like Salesforce, they already have something called Agentforce, where you can actually create something like agents only again, right? So AWS has their own agents. And if you see any product, let's say if FMCG, or even healthcare products, every SaaS provider is coming up with their own agents out of the box. So it all depends on, end of the day, businesses want a system that is deterministic. So if I give it an output, I want same output for all of my customers. If you tell them, hey, this is the workflow, but it is only 50%, or it is only working like 70% of the time it will work, and 80%, 20% of the time it may hallucinate, then no one would really use that agent to do something any critical, right? Any critical operation would not be done by that. So the easy approach that enterprises are taking now is, okay, I don't want to take any risk in automating or using agents for my critical workflow, since these are undeterministic things. We don't know if that would succeed or not, and sometimes it might fail. But you can still improve that system though, right? If you want to improve it, then you have to develop everything from scratch. So probably you need to develop a workflow, everything from scratch with your own tool set. But if you're going with a SaaS product, what they're doing is, okay, maybe I need a SaaS product for maybe making my meeting notes, or maybe answering some questions, basic questions of my customers, maybe some questions related to my product, or maybe doing some research around my own data, maybe something, asking questions and finding out. In enterprises, there are a lot of teams who might not know what other team is doing, or they might need to do a lot of research in Jira or reaching out to people to get more information. But what if the entire thing is made, added to a vector DB, and they can just chat with it, right? It's low risk thing. So PDF, chat PDFs, these are some of the products which are really, everyone is using it. And enterprises already have those products now out of the box. If you're using Microsoft Suite, it has Copilot. You could do all of this with Copilot. You could do, if you're using AWS, they have their own version of, Amazon Q or other layers that are giving the same access to people. If you ask me business-wise, there are a lot of business softwares already coming up with these agents, but we don't know which is really doing great, because there are a lot of startups which are developing products, but it need to be improved over time. We need to at least have 99 or 98% accuracy, and that 98% accuracy should not disrupt any of your business operations, right? You can't have a medical AI agent do everything. Rather, this medical AI agent would have, along with a doctor, should probably help him be more productive. So it also depends in terms of services. It also depends on how well a organization is adopting AI. How are they embracing AI? That also depends on the outcome, right? Agent may not be 100% right, but you have agent along with that expert and getting an outcome. So yeah, I think this is the way. And which all industries are embracing it earlier, very early stage, I think they win. And it will definitely help that organization. So, but there's no like one agent fits all kind of scenario yet. You still need to make it more domain tuned. You still need to speak in English for that agent to work for your business. Any agent could be a SaaS product as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Next question we have from Mahan. Can you go ahead, please?
Sure, thank you. Firstly, thanks for the session. It's very insightful and exciting as well. Just to give you a little bit of thing that I'm looking for is, so I'm quite new to this AI stuff, and I just didn't want it to be left behind. So I'm into this now. I started learning. And my question is, so I have a product idea that I want to develop. And before I start developing this product, I want to do a kind of a survey on a social media to see what kind of response I'll get it. Say, for example, if I am developing this product, which would give you this benefit, and then probably this would be the cost, would you be buying this? It's just a vague 2-3 points that I want to run a survey. So can we do in a similar way what you have done? And can I reach out to all the social media platforms like LinkedIn, of course, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Google as well?
Yeah, so basically you want to run a campaign on different social medias where this AI agent is basically sending these surveys and asking about these questions to different people, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so it should be simple. You can actually start with this particular template itself. Only thing you'll have to do is just introduce new tools to it, right? So LinkedIn researcher is there, but you'll have to add tools that can reach to people on LinkedIn. So what is your format? Is it a LinkedIn message, or it is a LinkedIn post? Is it a social media post? Is it a social media messages? So you'll have to decide on all of the scopes of the project and then just build different tools for it, and then just provide LLM with that, and then just I think get started. So only thing is when you
Thanks for that. But I'm more of an IoT guy, or I should say embedded in IoT guy. So I don't know much of a coding about the apps and all. So still, will I be just be able to pick up some agents who could do this?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have no code solutions as well. If you see the N8N one, so it should have all of the things that you actually need. So let's say you want to reach people on LinkedIn. So right, so here you have a create a post node. So similarly, let's say for in Twitter, so you'll definitely have direct messages, post, create tweets, all of that here. So you'll just have to connect different nodes with each other, and that's it. So just like we do in these kind of tutorials, different nodes are connected to form. Basically, this is an input that is being taken and an output is given. So similarly, you'll have to give an input which is what is today's post that we want to do, or just a trigger, just a button click, and it is automatically creating post as well, right? So all of the things you should actually find it here. So LinkedIn is there. You would definitely find Facebook triggers. They might even have Instagram. Actually, Facebook would do the Instagram graph APIs as well. So all of the social medias are already on there. So you can quickly get started with N8N and just build it up.
Okay, that would be great. And just a follow-up on this one. So if I have to get this job done, and if I give this kind of a requirement to you, would you be helping me?
Yeah, sure. I think you can reach us out in the group that we have created. So other folks, and we can also help you out whenever you are stuck somewhere.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
I think we have.
Mahant,
Sorry. Yes, sir, continue.
yeah, I just want to add one more thing. So Mahant, I see you are working in IoT side. So what do you do in the IoT side? Is it? Hello, I think you're on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking, Raj. So I'm an IoT problem solver, I would say. So I do develop solutions based on IoT, right from the sensor to the hardware, the embedded firmware to the SaaS application. When it comes to the SaaS, I don't actually develop them, but I do create some wireframes, the flow and how the dashboard should look like, the UI thing, and I get the third-party people to develop the SaaS. That was the story so far, but now going through the trends that I'm seeing and some of the videos, especially when Satya Nadella says that the SaaS is dead, I only understand that probably coding will no more be done to develop a SaaS application, and if you're good at giving prompts as an input, you would probably get that SaaS application. Somebody would give that. So this is what I do. I do complete end-to-end solution, and I hope that it answers, or did I miss anything?
Yes. No, I mean that answers. I mean, do you know that IoT could also be, they could also be, some applications of AI agents even in IoT. Right? I mean, are you aware of, RL, reinforcement learning based approaches in IoT? They are, even you could have some agents deployed within, in the embedded systems as well. So I don't know if you have done anything like that, but agentic layer could also be added to your embedded, whatever systems that you're working on, whatever analytics that you're doing. I mean, I'm not sure which space you're in IoT, because we also, so Cerebron's major, we were actually into edge AI. So we do a bit of that as mainly we deploy this on the edge devices, but I don't know how small your consumer, your device is, right? But just doing an API call or some device running, or maybe a model running on your IoT device, even that is possible. There are some models which are sitting on device. Like Apple has Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence has a 3 billion parameter model living on your device, and it is doing a lot of work. Like it is making emojis. It is working, and that is one of the major things that can help with data security as well, because you don't want a lot of sensitive data to go to the cloud. Now, if you want to ask any questions about your family, that entire thing resides on your phone only, because now in your photos, you say, okay, show me my, my pictures at this year, or where this is happening. All these questions, you could probably have it on device only. That's how things are going now in the AGI space, and I think IoT also has. It's called IIoT. I mean, you might be already aware of it, Intelligent Internet of Things. But these models are definitely stepping into edge devices as well, into the IoT devices as well.
Noted. First of all, I think it's an eye opener for me because I'm just getting into the AI because I was a little laid back. And I'm getting into this, and it's good to know that even embedded systems we can integrate the AI into this. I am not aware of this, so I would probably get in touch with you offline on the first thing. And second thing, when you mentioned IIoT, is it something different from Industry 4.0? Because that's also called Industrial Internet of Things as well. Is it different, or did you mention the same? Did you mean the same?
No, you could have maybe it could be a different abbreviation, but there's also a intelligent Internet of Things approach as well, where you have a swarm of devices which are more intelligent and smarter. And you would see that already happening in drones as of now. There could be drones which can work standalone and which can also take decisions autonomously. Or drone itself is an IoT device, right? It could also be an Internet of Thing. You have a drone, and some may not even be IoT. They are not even connected to internet, but still they can work autonomously. Even there's no internet, but that knows how to go ahead and do some work. So that is the future that we are seeing now, because these models are getting into the device and they know how to do which tool to call. Because that is what AI agent is doing now, right? AI agent can dynamically do that, but we still need internet, because in this case, you have to reach to open AI. That is the only reason why we need internet. But what if you have a 1 billion parameter model, which is really small, which would not require a lot of resources, deployed on your IoT device? It can even text you, right? Imagine my fridge. My fridge has a camera, or it is multimodal, or it knows about news. It can even tell you what is happening around the world. And it can even tell what things are happening in your house as well. No, don't connect your camera, your fridge to internet. You just have it standalone, no need of Wi-Fi, but have this LLM in your house, which is 1 billion parameter model, which is running locally. But it also has a camera which doesn't send any of the data to internet. It's just standalone. There's no internet to that fridge. It can take pictures. It can talk to you. It can see your surroundings. It can even tell, it can even talk. You can chat with it as well. Or if you wanted to do some tool calling, maybe, just go ahead and turn off your lights and everything. It could is even possible now. So this consumer electronic goods would eventually have these small models baked into them, and they do a lot of smart things. And it is already happening now. I don't know if you have seen CES this year, CES
Oh yeah,
2025.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see a lot of, it's an intelligent oven, they say. It's a very AI oven. How AI oven is working? Because AI, you are basically having this, it may not be an LLM, it could also be a VLM, or it could also be a model which is developed using large language models, by using a lot of synthetic data. So this huge amount of data could be generated by these large language models, which can be used to, again, develop a smaller model, which could be deployed into smaller devices. And they do wonders. So this is one of the areas that you need to explore in the IoT space now. Next.
Yeah, surely. I've just added you on LinkedIn, and I'll get in touch with you offline. And what I mean to say is out of chat. So one more last thing is, what did you mention that VLM? What V stands for in that?
Visual language model.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'll definitely be interested in getting into something that can be integrated into the embedded, into the microprocessor or microcontroller or something. So I will get in touch with you maybe in a couple of days' time and see if there is any collaboration or any partnership that we can break through.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mount.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think we had one question from Shravan. Shravan, I'm unmuting you. You can go ahead.
Hi, could you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, it could be a basic question. So, back in those days, we used to hear a lot about bots in applications. Those are integrated to charts or different mediums. So now this agentic way of interacting with systems, is it now a layer on top of bots, or how different it is from bots, or how advanced it is from bots? Just trying to gauge, like, if someone at a non-IT asks me, I would like to respond to that. So if you have some expertise, could you help me understand?
Yeah, that's basically a bot. When you talk about a bot, that you might have heard about bots in 2019, 2018, they say, oh, we have a virtual bot, right? So these bots are more NLP based. Natural language processing, NLU based. They have BERT, systems which will understand some things. They also have like different models that are developed to understand some basic entities. They can differentiate if you're asking about a refund or if you're asking about something else. These bots could understand it, but these bots are also brittle. They just understand, maybe, you know, when you have a phone call, you say, okay, it might ask, tell me what are you calling about, if a VR, maybe a automated voice assistant, and I would say, okay, I'm calling about my, you know, help with a ticket. So then it will understand that basic things. When you compare the bot to an agent, what makes a bot different than an agent is a bot cannot perceive, cannot, it can perceive, but it cannot decide and act. It can, but you have to hardwire all of that requirements. It is not done dynamically. Whereas an agent, it is done dynamically. The dynamicness is coming from LLMs, which is large language model, like OpenAI models, or it could also be cloud, or, you know, these large language models. The difference between a regular bot, which were there in for a while, which are already using NLPs, and I mean, the thing is with that is, you are creating, you know, you still have, the thing with LLMs are they have more reasoning power. When you compare that with a regular bot, which might be using some APIs or maybe using some NLP metrics to find out what could be the intent and everything. These LLMs are much more mature. They can be an expert because they have trained on all of internet data, and also they have a lot of reasoning power. That is the reason why they're able to generalize. That is the beauty of large language models. When you say generalize, you are not fine tuning that model to do a specific task. If you ask LLM to say, hey, you know, just go pretend you are my customer executive and this is my company does, now just go and respond to me, then your bot keeps on responding to you, right? It can act like that. It is called in context learning. That is only possible with your LLMs, which are large language models. It is not possible with any other bots which were there previously, because they doesn't have this decision or reasoning power that only happened with large language models because of huge compute and transformer models, right? Transformers are generalist. That is the reason they are able to crack exams as well, like, you know, USMLE exam, which is like doctors write that exam. It's unseen data that's never seen by these models. They're not even trained on that, but it can just go ahead and answer the questions right. The reason, because they baked the reasoning power. They baked into, due to this huge compute and due to the large set of data set, they got this reasoning power as well, where they can reason and decide and act on it, just like how we humans do, which is not possible with the bot, which were there previously. So, and that made this agentic possible now, where you are being confident enough to tell an AI, hey, you go decide what to do. If this is the response, if the question, a bot would not understand if you just go and say, hey, you know, I'm this and you know, I'm calling about, I want to get more information about a bank. Then your bot, if it is not, you know, it has to be specifically given a lot of instructions. It is all rule based. You put different rules. If you see a word like rule, this, then it has to go and route, this is the workflow. Or if you say the customer says about complaint, then this is the line or this is the workflow for it. So you define all these workflows. It is always better to do that, because even LLMs, you could do the same workflow design. That is what we're doing with NA10, because you're telling what has to be done after that. A research has to be done before this need to be done and all. You better create, it's very simple, right? You have the sales agent, that's fine. It can also be done through a workflow or through a bot system as well. But what you're seeing now in a sales agent, we could make it even more robust by having it more, by giving it access to memory, by giving it access to a lot more, where, you know, that is something that agent is possible. Like agents could do that, whereas others, a simple bot might break. In that case, you know, if you give 10 different tools and ask it to call, an LLM powered agent could do a lot better because of the generalization ability or the reasoning ability that it has when compared with a regular bot, which is more rule based. But still, you need some characteristics of a bot, because you can't have a sales agent or maybe an agent that is working for you reach out to some, maybe your competitor's API. So you can't have this do lot of decisions, everything by itself. You can't leave you can't, autonomy is good, but human in the loop is also very important. You should at least have domain expert input before taking an action is also important. So those are the balance that we have. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of huge difference between both of them, a regular bot versus agentic, LLM powered agents.
Anybody has any other questions? I think that should be it. Then any signing off notes, Raj or Hardeep?
Yeah, nothing from my side. I think it was a great session. The questions were very interesting, and I think everyone might have got a lot of insights into this new space. And miracles are going to happen if we are just going to keep iterating over it and just making it more advanced and advanced. Yeah, that's it.
Yep. Thank you, Hardeep, for for taking this session. I mean, I appreciate that. It was not a part of plan. I think he just jumped in because I got some important work, and he just jumped in and took care of the session. Thanks for that. And all of you, I mean, definitely agree with Hardeep. They're definitely great questions everyone is asking about. Interesting questions. And follow Agentversity on LinkedIn. Can you, Shivani, share that? So we create educational content. We're trying to make it even better as days goes by. So we follow Agentversity on LinkedIn and on Twitter, and we'll be also doing a lot more to educate every one of you to upskill yourself and embrace this AI. I mean, definitely everyone has to embrace AI. If you are not embracing AI now, definitely be ready to be replaced. I mean, yeah, it might sound really tough for people who think AI is not. I mean, I don't know. There are some negative impression on it, like, oh, it might take away my job or something like that. But just think about it as any other technology update, but something really important that is happening in all of the history of humanity. Think about this to be more of equivalent to how we introduce electricity. So just think about this like that. The ramification of this will be huge. We'll be working on huge problems. All the developers who already have experience in writing code, it is not replacing them. Rather, it is making their work more productive, because writing code is not something a developer does 100% of the time. A developer would write code, he would do the updates, he would probably do validation for it. He would also take care of a lot of production issues that is coming up. He would also take care of all the new features that need to be incorporated. And he would also deal with different research work as well. He would also do documentation too. It has to schedule meetings with other stakeholders, give justification to stakeholders. So what we're doing now is we are automating certain part of your coding work. And not just here, any human, any doctor, let's say doctor would probably deal with a lot of different information. But what if we create a co-pilot which can make the doctor the best doctor in the world? Maybe any doctor that you're talking to, an average doctor could, with AI, he could be the best doctor in the world, because now he's having a co-pilot who has a lot of better information retrieval on the fly, which is smart enough, which is cognitive enough to give you that information on the fly, and which is also validated with every factor taken care. Agents already have problems. You can't say agent would rely on doctor, may replace the doctor. I would never believe in AI agent's output. If AI agent output or a doctor AI agent with an actual doctor, yeah, I would trust it. A sales AI agent with the salesperson, I would trust it. Would I trust only a sales agent all by itself? Maybe not. Maybe it is helping me do a faster research. Maybe I would use it to do research, but end of the day, it's my output. A human output or a validation from human is always needed if you're taking any critical decision. So it's not replacing us, but it's rather making us more productive. So it is also giving us a lot of room to upskill and learn new technologies. So that is something that everyone has to learn and keep learning something new every day. As I said, if you're not keeping update yourself with these technologies, it's a huge risk, because it's almost like you're not still learning to drive a car. Rather, you just want to use the bullock cart, right? You just want to use that because that is what your regular way is. If you don't learn to drive car, then probably you'll be left behind. So that's what's happening now. So always try to upskill and get online with AI. I think definitely you'll be there, and we help you guys in upskilling and through Agentversity and also other educational platforms. So please do follow us. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. That should be it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.